Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Johnny Mozler's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about filmmaking, both large and small scale, and where I see the tip in the balance, the shift in the balance occurring as we go from the early 21st century to the late 21st century. Because I'd like to think about this in the actual long term, not just in the next 10 years, because I feel like as a species we are incredibly short-sighted. We don't really bother to see what is going to happen further down the line. I mean, I don't think any filmmakers in the 1930s were really considering what, film in the 2020s would be like. I don't think people that made The Great Train Robbery were really thinking about Avatar or Gravity or one of them sort of films. So I feel like it's important to try and hypothesize about where things are going to go, what the future holds, and if it's wrong, then this can be a time capsule for what people thought, or at least what I thought in the 2020s. So I see personally quite good things happening. I'm not a massive pessimist. I'm a pessimist with regards to the workers' rights and humanity as a whole regarding the AI sort of thing, as AI possibly gains sentience, which can cause that's going to cause exponential development in AI technology, which grim. And then on the film side and the workers' rights side, obviously, I feel like as fascism kind of grows in the yay, thanks for the election. As fascism kind of grows in the world over the next sort of 20 years, we're going to have some bad stuff kind of go down there. At the very least, we're going to see the erosion, the continual erosion of workers' rights, and that's not going to be fun. But in terms of film, I see good things, particularly one which will be a response to a lot of these problems within the world. We, as a species, will and have been throughout the past sort of 15 years, been gaining a lot of new ways of expressing ourselves. And I've noticed we've kind of gone from modern to postmodern to like post fucking modern in like the last 15 years. You see the evolution of memes, for instance, the way that they sort of started off like rage comics that then sort of got bigger and bigger and wackier and then kind of stepped down, and then you got like the Wojak fucking stupid things that are just basically rage comics. They're the exact same thing. There isn't actually a difference, but apparently rage comics are shit and Wojaks are cool. But anyway, Wojaks aren't really cool anymore. In terms of that, you see the very quick evolution. I think evolution of things like this and the little trends will go faster and faster and faster, and we'll start seeing more very short-term bursts of creative sort of work happen in a very short space of time. I kind of also see the democratization of film in general, which has been happening over the past sort of 60 years anyway, with the advent of, portable cameras, then into digital cameras and all that kind of stuff. And as time goes on, it will only get better and better, particularly as, the old smartphone thing gets better and better at doing the recording and start doing all that sort of stuff. These are going to get really good. And as time goes on, like 50 years ago, you could not have gotten a shot like this with this kind of audio. You would have needed, 3 sound guys out the back, one of which holding a giant a giant boom pole. You would have needed a proper camera guy. You would have needed a camera assistant. You would have needed 2 lighting guys, because the f-stop on that would have been terrible, and like the ISO and all that kind of stuff, the aperture sensors and all that kind of stuff is not nearly as good and well developed as they are today. But now I can just do all this stuff myself with the camera propped up on the basically like this, but like a bigger one. So it's basically on one of these little wooden bits here. That's my setup, and that's fine, And as time goes on, that's going to get easier and easier and easier as new little technologies kind of continue. We might start getting little things where you can put like a tripod mad thing on here that then could move automatically with some kind of remote control. That probably already exists. You can get consumer grade gimbals now. Can you imagine that? 30 years ago? No, it's just madness. So I think as time goes on, the idea of a singular nerd living in their fucking basement is going to, the idea of them making something of the scale of the Avengers is laughable to us now, but I think as time goes on, it's going to get more and more realistic. Because one, I don't particularly like AI, but AI is going to make that sort of thing a lot easier. Because instead of needing 300 VFX artists that, all bloody want workers' rights and all that sort of shit, now we can just get one AI to do it and just spit it out. And, as time goes on, we'll work out the kinks with the artisticness of that. I mean, Do you think the first films that were done for camera full stop were particularly artsy? Not really. A lot of them are just filming dinner parties. And what's the one with the Wheel-Mary house or whatever it is? It's outside some house in France in like 1888, and it's basically just, it's a little bit of this. They do a little bit of a dance like that, and it's about 3 seconds long. You know, as the technology grows, AI is going to start being able to be more capable of art when it's in the right hands. But and that's also not me saying that I like AI. Fucking don't like AI. I don't see good things for it in our future. But as far as film goes, I do see the odd decent thing happening with it, and that in general, because also more and more people will be making films, because the technology and the ability to do so is going to be put in so many more people's hands. Well, we are going to see more and more films coming out. I mean, already the number of sheer works of art has gone like that since the dawn of the internet, and then probably even before then. So, you know, as more things get made, my quantity over quality thing, which is basically the more stuff you make, the more chances you have of making something really good. That's basically it in a nutshell. I think that's going to apply to the broader landscape of film in general, and we're going to start seeing more good films. And I think as smaller creators make more films, they're going to make more good films, and as people enjoy more good films, the larger studios are going to start emulating what the small creators are doing. Partially because they'll start to notice that the small creators are the ones that can actually get a profit out of this sort of thing, because they're not wasting $50 million on getting Ryan Reynolds in or whatever, you know? Because yeah, he's a good actor, but if I just look at him in something, I just see Ryan Reynolds. I don't see the character or anything like that, and I bet I'm not alone on that. I mean, obviously it's fun to see Brad Pitt in a movie or whatever, because you know it's Brad Pitt and you're watching a movie with Brad Pitt in it. But there'll be new stars, and the new stars might not need nearly as much paying, because you know they won't have the same Hollywood celebrity status. I think that might be something that slowly declines as, you know, as the general zeitgeist of the media landscape fractures, and we all go off in our different little bubbles, which is already happening with the advent of the internet. I mean, look at the amount of different music scenes that happen now, that everyone sort of, you know, goes off into their own little corner, and like, there's so many different little spaces on the internet that I've never seen or heard of, and then you find out about them and you see that they've got a really dedicated audience, and you go, bloody hell. Just like these videos, actually, these sort of videos. I didn't realize this was a whole space on the internet, but I made a couple of them. Turns out it was a space, it was a little community on the internet. I was like, oh, fucking all right, just keep doing them then, I suppose. So, well, that's kind of where I see film going in the future. I see it going in a generally positive place, but that's not to say there's not going to be a lot of struggles, and it's also not to say that, you know, in terms of workers' rights for people in the industry at large, that is going to be a massive problem. But on the artistic side of things, I do see some decent stuff on the horizon. I do feel like the Hollywood behemoth is going to slowly crumble over the next 30 years, as or it will have to change massively, and like, you know, these $200-300 million bloody Avatar 2, Avengers 5, Transformers 8, all this sort of stuff isn't going to be able to hold ground in a future where, you know, some twat with a camcorder or an iPhone can make something that feels just as good and just as proper and just as artistically rewarding and creatively fulfilling for the person, and you know, rewarding for the audience. And I kind of think that's a good thing overall. I feel like it's a shift in the balance from, you know, the people that sort of at the top, the studio execs and all that kind of stuff. Power is leaving their pockets and entering ours. And it's not going to happen overnight, but in the next 20-30 years, possibly. And yeah, I hope that, you know, workers' rights don't completely erode, but I mean, you seen what's going on out there? I don't know about that. Not optimistic about the future of humanity in general, but as far as the, you know, the future of the artistic medium of film, I see good things. Also, I see good things with music as well. I think that 2020 has been one of the best decades for music since the 60s, to be honest. It really has. You've got a lot of good stuff. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you had a good day, and hope this didn't sort of ruin the day. Hope you continue to have a good day, And I hope that I can sort of end the video now without saying, hope you have a good day one more time. Hope you have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care. Ugh.